Spring is upon us. Grilling season is about to kick off. We're here in Northeast Ohio. It is a nice 45 degrees outside. The Traeger grill's been through the paces last year since I got it. It is super dirty, and it's time for me to show you guys how I super clean the Traeger grill so that you can enjoy an entire season of grilling with a nice clean Traeger grill. Before we start cleaning the grill here, let's just quickly show you the damage that we've inflicted over one grilling season with the Traeger. The bottom grill grate is caked up with crud. The thermometer is caked. If we take that out, you can see that our tray liner is caked, which is perfect because I want to show you guys how we get this nice and clean. Look at that, just from touching the grill grate. If we come along the side here, in between the hopper and the base of the unit, it gets dirty in there. We got the wooden cutting board plank. We've got the hopper full of pellets. The back of the hopper, where the door is, release the pellets. The other rack that hangs in the back, and then more of the unit itself, and then of course the grease bucket, some accessories, and this tray that holds the accessories. All of that needs cleaned, so let's get to it. One of the things I don't like about this Traeger grill is when you want to change your pellets or take them out to clean it, you open this door, they come flying out, but there's nowhere really to like catch them good. You use the bag that the pellets come in, like these Bold Blend pellets, which are really nice, hickory cherry with a hint of rosemary, kind of my new favorite pellet. What happens, they spill everywhere. You make a mess, you put a bucket down there, and the problem is this caster, this wheel, when you put a bucket down, it hits the wheel. You can't put anything directly below it. But apparently that's been fixed with the new Timberline XL. They got a bucket that sits right below the unit. But anywho, let's go ahead and try to dump these in. Just unscrew it. Let's see how many that got out of there. This hopper was full. And as you can tell, there's the hole there, but we still got a bunch more, so you have to try to sweep them out and get a tool to get in between this grate here and scoop them out. And then as you're doing that, how do you get them in the bag, you know, without them spilling all over the ground like this? It's kind of a pain in the butt, but let me finish that up and we'll go to the next step. So I actually got them propped up on a couple of 4x4s, so the bag is right under the spout. And then as I push them in, they're landing right in the bag, so that's cool. So as you can see here, the pellets are all the way emptied out of the hopper, except for the entrance to the auger. So now what we do is we're gonna get disassembled inside the grill. We're gonna first take off this guy here. Check that out. Gross. Gross there, but beautiful while you're cooking. And then we've got our pan, our drip tray pan. We're gonna take that out, just kind of lifts on out carefully. Now we're down, getting closer to the guts of the unit. You can see there's a bunch of sawdust, pellet dust from cooking. So that's why it's important that you clean your grill ever so often. I guess technically that could probably contribute to a fire in your grill. There are videos online where these things have smoked profusely, and keeping a nice clean grill is a good way to prevent that. So we got the fire pot cover here. It's protection, keep all that dust out of there. They just kind of push off the tabs and lift out. And there's the fire pot. So the end of the auger right there. Got some pellets like so. So now what we're going to do is turn the unit on, and we're going to prime all the pellets out of the auger so we have a clean auger. So we'll go ahead and hit menu. We'll go down to auger, and then we're going to hit prime auger. There's also clear auger. That'll spin it both ways, so if it gets like jammed, it'll go counterclockwise and then clockwise, little bits at a time, to try to get chunks of pellet that may have caked up in there out. But we don't have that, so we're just going to hit prime. It's just going to keep spinning it one way, and it's going to keep pushing a bunch of pellets out into the fire pot. Then we'll scoop them out and put them back in the bag. See how it's filling? And if you look down in the grill hopper, you see them starting to make their way, and you can actually see the part of the auger right there. So we're gonna get all of them cleared out. We'll put those back in the bag, and then we'll show you the next step. So if we come back over to the hopper, we can really see that now. Now you inspect that auger as it's spinning to make sure it doesn't have a bunch of caked up pellet dust in there, which it doesn't. But we're gonna squirt some air in there just to try to clear it out a little bit nicer. And the prime of the auger, we did it, this is the second cycle. It does it for like 2 minutes, but there was still a little bit of pellets, so we're just doing it a second time, and that's gonna clear all the pellets out. All right, so a little bit of air. We're gonna go ahead and clean down in there. Woo! Power. Now use the air after the hopper's empty, because obviously it's throwing this dust everywhere. Alright, that should be enough of that. Now I got dust all over my camera. But look at that auger. A couple stray pellets got down in there, but they'll prime out. And I'm just evaluating that for crud, and it appears there's like none. So that's pretty much it for that. Clean out your fire pot. I kept doing scoops, throwing them back in the bag. And if we want, we can shoot some air up this hole too. We might as well do that. Woo! Woo! And that'll just keep all that from being caked. Oh, there goes my hose. If you get moisture on the pellets, that's the number one thing that's going to cause them to cake up. So it's important that your pellets remain sealed in their bag, or you get yourself like a nice cooler. I have a different pellet type in here, a nice insulated cooler. This is the Big Game blend. And then our bold blend just stays right in the bag. It's resealable from Traeger, and that keeps the moisture away. If you can keep your grill in a low moisture environment, then it won't hurt to keep your hopper full of pellets. But if you are in a high moisture environment, you gotta watch. If those pellets sit too long, then you're gonna get yourself into a situation where that auger gets caked. Next step, vacuum everything you can. Get all this dust out of here, inside the fire pot, inside all the metal bits, inside the grill surface here. Now check that out. See how much dust that's picking up? Get all that out. Then we'll go to the next step. All right, for the next part here, we've got this metal pan that we swept out that surrounds the fire pot. It's like an extra piece of insulation. We're gonna take that out. It has a couple screws. We're gonna use our Traeger screwdriver that came with the grill. But before we do it, we're gonna clean it while it's like screwed in and has some structure, you know, to it. We take it out, it's gonna be all flimsy and it's gonna be harder to clean. So for that part now, we're gonna use our Traeger all natural cleaner. Just squirt it on there. It's like a citrus based. Some greasy spots there. And there. And then we'll just use some shop towels, let it dwell for like a minute or two, and then we'll just wipe it off. You don't have to go super crazy, just get the greasy chunky spots. You know, the grill is seasoned, so all that smoky flavor kind of absorbs into the box, and you don't want to like scrub all of it off, so it doesn't need to be spotless. You just want to get all the chunky, greasy, scrapey, gross stuff off. Look at that. Take that part off. It's a little bend. And there you go. The back side of it pretty much stays pretty clean. But now we have the bare bottom of the box. We're gonna go ahead and clean that out with the vacuum and wipe it up. We're gonna wipe off all the rails where the grates sit, and we'll show you what it looks like when it's done. All right, so I vacuumed everything out along the periphery of the firebox and auger assembly, the big square there. Stuff gets trapped against the edges, so I went and got that all out. A bunch of stuff flew up and hit me in the arm, in my eyes. So now I'm going to spray this down all over. Now this is where the grease drips in, goes through that square hole. I'm going to get that saturated pretty good because that's greasy. And while that's dwelling, I'm going to go ahead and do a couple sensitive parts with a shop towel. Just going to go ahead and spray the shop towel. And then right up on the upper right hand edge there, this guy right here is the temperature sensor. You want that nice and clean because you don't want the grill to think it's cooler or hotter. But it's like a little rubber tip, so I'm just gonna gently massage it and get that nice and clean. There's like a metal tube that protrudes through. So just kind of get that nice and clean, but be careful as this tip is flimsy and you don't want to break it. So after this dwells, we'll scrub it out. Keep note of how it looks right now. We'll show you what it looks like when it's done. Get that a little extra clean, and then make sure no paper resides in there, ripped off, because I don't want that to burn. Little helpful tool, little plastic scraper. Look at all that scraping off the bottom there. So after I let that citrus cleaner dwell, that's turns into like Oreo dust. Caca. Check out this side. Look how clean that looks. That citrus cleaner is actually pretty amazing stuff. It like takes that darkness right off. And this side's like halfway done. If you look behind this bracket right here, it's like black, or if you just like rewind the video, you'll notice how like the whole grill is like dark black inside. Well, only the barrel part's actually black. The sides got like an aluminum to it, but they were like dark when we started the video, so pretty awesome how clean it's coming. Check out how clean that looks, guys. The whole interior is clean. I did the lid, especially paying particular attention to the edges and the edges here because you want to keep that heat in good. So if you get any crud there, it's going to mess with your seal of the heavy lid resting. So we took care of that. We cleaned everything out the best we could, Doesn't look perfect, there's some spots, but like I said, it's a grill. It's not gonna be 100% like all the time. Super awesome clean. It's a cooking mechanism that produces a lot of smoke. So, but we got the auger is clear. We got our hopper clear. We blew air in it. We evaluated our auger and determined that there was nothing cakey in it. So all we got to do now is fill the hopper back up, prime it through, put everything back together. I did do the grate. The only thing I have to do left is to clean off the actual grease tray there and put a new liner on it, and then we're going to turn this guy on and re-season it, and we'll be done. So that should have a downhill slant. The V-notch sits right over this tab right there. And that's that. So make sure it's nice and dry. See, it looks dirty, right? But it's clean. The stuff stains, it gets smoke saturated, and but it is clean. I'm very happy right now. You don't have to use these. You can actually just use tin foil, or technically you don't have to use anything, but this helps keep it a little bit cleaner. So, and there you go. So the grate sits on top, grease strips down onto here, runs down there into the grease trap, and then the grease bucket, one of the last steps here, your aluminum tin foil can, and just replacing it with a new one. And there you go, empty can. And then if you are thrifty, you could just empty this gross thing out and clean it, try to retain its shape and reuse it. Why not? You just quickly go around the outside, wipe everything off with your citrus cleaner. We're gonna close our hopper, screw that on, refill it with pellets. And we're going to prime it one more time. And that's going to feed pellets back through to the fire pot. Once it's done, we'll crank this guy on to like 500 degrees for about 5 to 20 minutes, somewhere in that range. And that will evaporate any citrus cleaner left in there and kind of re-season the grill, so we are ready to cook once again. Clean grill. Menu. Settings. Clear notifications. Clear. No more clean grill. Don't be cheating, hitting that. I'm gonna throw it up to like 500 degrees. Hit it. Hit ignite. And it's gonna ignite. I'm gonna let it cook for like 20 minutes or so, just to, you know, season the grill and evaporate. While it's doing that, I'm just gonna clean the outside, and then we'll show you the very last touch. Smoke roaring out, fresh pellets, freshly cleaned grill. Let that burn in a little bit. Highly recommend investing in that. It's the Traeger grill cover, especially if you're keeping it out in the elements. It looks good, keeps it from getting wet. I'm fortunate enough I'm gonna keep mine inside the garage, but that's the final step there, and that's a clean grill. Thanks for watching. Follow along for recipes and some cool cooking adventures coming soon. I'm Mooch. This is Mooch Life. Thank you for watching. Peace out.